Fun thing about it, like I was going in the province so many times as an adversary and fight, and then this time I'm not getting the apology. And I was like numb walking up the steps. And we had the minister, who was a good friend of mine, tell me, yes, we grew up with, and how he was playing the drums, and as you walk into the room, man, I felt like that little kid that was in the hall.
Aquama brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you to this evening's celebration. Not very often, as a people, we can come together to celebrate such victory. So today we are going to be using the opportunity to celebrate the victory of our brothers and sisters from Nova Scotia, and we're going to be learning and sharing quite a lot.
Embody spirit, we celebrate spirit, we resonate and shine spirit in everything we do all the time. And we believe it's important that anytime we're going to engage in any significant activity, we humble ourselves, we ground ourselves in the awareness, the appreciation that we're guided by the Creator. Our ancestors have helped us to be here at this time, that we are shaped and inspired by their work and their sacrifice. I met Brother Tony just a few months ago on my first visit to Halifax, and I have been mesmerized ever since by his amazing leadership, compassion, commitment, dedication, tenacity, his intelligence, and importantly, he's a survivor. And they're going to speak to this amazing historical thing that has happened in Canada for Black people that has been a well-kept secret for a long time. And when this sister connected with me again, after us not connecting for quite a while, and told me the story and said, just check out the website, I started crying. Then I went to Halifax, I cried again. Then I watched this video, you're going to watch a little piece of it, I cried again. Then yesterday we met some of the former residents and I bawled like a baby. Because it's been so moving and so powerful. And it speaks, it's a testament to our strength as a people, and our perseverance and our resilience.
Period in our history in Nova Scotia for Indigenous blacks. One of the reasons why we came up here is when the name came down to Halifax, we realized where we're at with the Sir chapter, and it's very positive. That's what we're talking about, celebration. But it is very painful. I'm pretty sure that with your history here in Nova Scotia, there's also a lot of people who grew up with the same kind of pain, being oppressed, dealing with racism and discrimination. I went public in 1998, not that I went looking for it. Just the work that I did was growing up and speaking about child protection workers and different agencies looking after youth and sharing my experience. The reporter had contacted me one day, told me to go home so they could hear the steps. And they thought it would be nice to have a former resident's perspective. I told them I don't mind telling you my story, but it may not be the story you want to hear. And I want to tell the story about my friend Anthony Langford. I was very fortunate as far as a lot of us end up being our own worst enemies in the drugs and crime and things of that nature. I became a father at a very young age, and the thing that I always wanted to do was to raise my child, because my father, my biological father, would boast about having 23 kids, but he didn't raise them. So that kind of kept my mind focused, but when the opportunity came to speak about it, I asked my family for permission because I didn't want to cause them any shame. I didn't care what people thought of me. When I went public, I had no idea to the extent of the abuse that we had. And when we started this, more people came forward. We started with 160 some odd people individually. It would take over 50 some odd years to go through the system, so we went for a class action. The previous government, by the Dexter NDP government, was being very adversarial. They didn't want to do anything. They didn't want to have a public inquiry. They wanted to have an independent panel where we can speak about our pain and suffering, but yet where we're being adversaries, the same statements we're saying we want to get thrown into court. They may thought or think that we're fools, but we're not. So the opposition parties at the time, before the election was coming up, they vowed that if either one of them were to get into power, that they would give us a public inquiry. Steve McNeil and the Liberal government got into power. And the very first thing he said on this interview was that the Nova Scotia Children Public Inquiry is a priority. And that resonated well within the black community because we never ever heard anything like that. I mean, I remember eyeing Kirk Dani and whatnot, and I yelled at high pitch. And my wife said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Did you hear what this man just said?" Because we had our first retreat at 2000, a 4-day event. I was being 86, and there's people from all across Canada came to Nova Scotia. And there was a lot of stress, pain, anxiety. We didn't know each other. A lot of people didn't want to speak. They didn't want to hold hands. For the 4 days event, everybody found their voice. We were laughing, singing, praying, crying. And we realized that we were no longer survivors, that were no longer victims, that were survivors. And the elder gave us their blessing to say, "Voices, we want you to continue. We may never ever see the day that we get acknowledgement of the injustice that was done to us." A year later, we had another retreat, and those very same people that wouldn't look at you, wouldn't speak, had nothing but confidence and pride. And their family accepted them because they were trying to hide this kind of shame from them as well. But they look at, they're not the perpetrators, they're the victims. So
before I get into the specifics around the administration part, the thing that is really important, and all that was Tony said is really critical, also important is what it is for us, the black community, to think about. The issue of unity, which Tony mentioned, but also the issue of leadership, which is a huge issue. Here, I know it was there when I was here in the 80s and 90s working. It's still an issue today. It's an issue in our communities. And it's forced the community to begin to think about what kind of leadership do we want? Is it leadership by default? Those who decide that they're going to speak up? Those who are friends of the government of the day? Is that the leadership we want, or are we intentional about our leadership? Do we need to have some kind of strategic plan that the community puts forward around all the issues that impact our day? Yes.
Because I'll tell you the key thing is that when I talk about there's so many people from the broader community that came to support us, I truly mean that. Every time that the government was opposing anything that we were trying to do, and they said we can't do it because of this and that, the experts came out the field, and they said, yes, you can. Why? So the question kept coming from the media to them, why you continue to do, until they had to do the right thing. And that's take responsibility, then the question stopped.
There is a lot of work to be done, but we can only do that if we come together as a people. Because you talk about leadership, and I'm glad you mentioned that. It's so true. We are not as united as we can be. And unity is strength. We need to understand that.
Nova Scotia. It was the bicentennial anniversary for the abolishment of slavery. And we went, and the Amistad came into town because they built a replica sailing around. We went to Africville. We went all over to the various towns and all that. And what struck us was that there was only a small monument to Africville, just like a stone pillar with a marble engraving. But then we went to Pier 21, massive museum, recognizing various Europeans who came across the oceans to Canada and their stories. And it was well done, multimedia displays and all that. And I kind of sitting here wondering if there's an opportunity in your minds of this spinning off into a reparation, like a talk about reparations for that community.
We black folks are resilient. We are strong. And I believe the strength of our ancestors gave that strength to the survivors, the residents of the Home for Colored Children, to come forth and to release the story, and in fact, to release the truth from others of us who were giveaway children, children who no one cared about, children who were stuck in places. They weren't called the Home for Colored Children, but we were going through those same events. Thank you, because you are giving some of us the capacity to stop being embarrassed, stop being ashamed, stop having to hide the truth about our upbringing. And I wish you well, all of you who are in this room, and please take it back to the other African Nova Scotians. Y'all are very special, you know. Back in the, 1700s, when the Empire Loyalists got all the nice land and y'all got the crummy stuff, you didn't lay down and say quit. When you were barred from schools and churches and all of those other institutions, you didn't lay down and say quit. Nova Scotian blacks are very special, and it's truly, as was said earlier, it's like going home when we come to visit you. You haven't lost the beautifulness of our people.